What's up, guys? So I'm gonna go over the classes I've been using because a lot of people have been questioning like what classes I'm due to the fact that they're somewhat unique. So this is like the main class that I've been using lately, XM4 and MP40. With my XM4, I run Agency Suppressor Task Force, Vision Tech 2 because it's faster ADS, Raider stock, 60 round mags. You can, if you want to not have strafe speed, you can swap out the Raider stock and put a target team spotlight. But this is the build that I have because I want it to be accurate, but also somewhat fast moving and mobile. So like, if I get into a pinch, I can still use this. My secondary in this, which is this is usually my Rebirth class setup. I rock the MP40 with either the suppressor or the recoil booster. The barrel that everyone uses, skeletal for fast aim, down sight speed, 45 rounds because it's better fire rate, and I'm pretty sure it's a better TTK. If there was a 60 round version of this, I'd probably be running it. Incendiary rounds because they're kind of busted. Leather because I want aim down sight speed and aiming's the bonus. I like slate reflector because I'd rather get the slight ADS penalty for not using one of the iron sights and just going with red dot. I really like the optic. Sprint fire, speed and movement speed. Got that. Momentum because after I kill someone I kind of want to go speedy boy class. Quick because it's sprint speed. So this is my STG class setup that I've been using for like 2 weeks. It's kind of busted. A lot of people have been able to point that out within some of my videos, like it's very strong. So we go with the silencer for accuracy and sound suppression because I want this to be somewhat accurate, and a long range viability, like long range weapon. I use this barrel because it's the one that's the best for long range. Skeletal because I want at least some aimed outside speed. 50 round mag because it's the best one. Incendiary because it's broken. Slate because I really like the optic and I'd rather that than go with the 2.5 times. I want movement speed and sprint to fire because this class setup I want to be a long range class, but I also want it to be one that I can just pick up because you can see that I'm using tempered in this class. Leather for the same thing, that's aiming to stability. Flinch resistance because holy fuck is that so important. I don't know if this actually works. There might be a chance that some of these perks actually don't do anything, but the idea of flinch resistance is something that's very good, like hitting more of your shot. Fully loaded because this is a starting class setup with tempered. Throwing knife to down people, I might use thermites because right shielders are disgusting freaks. And then there's stun grenades because they're busted. I might switch out to stim grenades depending on it. Here's my DMRD class setup because this is just stupidly strong. It's actually better than most of the Vanguard SMGs by just running this. And then we have this AS44 class. I know everyone's using a hipfire build. I actually don't know what the hipfire build looks like, but this is my like fast ADS, like insane TTK build. So it's recoil booster for that extra fire rate, so there's higher TTK. We have hipfire accuracy and stuff like that, so it can be used as an SMG. Skeletal stock for aim down sight speed. 50 round mags because fire rate. Incendiary, great round. Slate is great. Fabric for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire, and hipfire. Skeletal stock for sprint to fire and movie. Momentum because this is like a pseudo SMG, and fully loaded because I need that ammo. And then I have a very similar setup with this. I just run speed tape instead. And then here's the meta class setup. I don't know if too many people need this, but I'm not going to go over it because meta class setups. But yeah, and then if we wanted to quickly create a class that I was thinking about touching on, there's two guns. I think the Bren will be nerfed. And then after the Bren is nerfed, I believe that the two LMGs that might come out is like MG42 might be nerfed as well because it's really strong. I haven't used it yet, but I'll make like a class with it now. But like the DP27 is actually surprisingly good. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I don't know, some people say it's not that great, but like when I've used it, when I picked it up and made classes with it, it's been pretty banging. I'll make an MG42 class setup. So what I'd most likely use is the MX. This one. I'd probably use this one. And then skeletal stock. The fire rate ammunition on most guns seem to be the better way to go. You could run with incendiary or lengthened depending on the bullet velocity. Because I went without the accuracy and bullet velocity range one, it's probably better to go with lengthened. I'd probably go with the 2.5. I think I'd go with the VDD skeletal because this seems like a raider stock and I very much like to be able to strafe out of people. I'd most likely just go with the leather, aim down sight speed, aiming stability. If you can't control recoil, I would say probably tight grip. I'd most likely go with frenzy, so I don't have to use quick fix. I'd use fully loaded here. Yeah, and this would be my class setup for the MG when I'm going to use it. And then also I'll showcase an example of the DP class setup that I would use. So you can either go with suppression if you care about that, or recoil booster if you care about TTKs. I'll mostly go with TTKs. I'd go with this one because I don't want all of the penalties of like sprint fire speed and stuff like that. so go with this accuracy. If you want more accurate gun, you can go with this, but I don't want spin to fire speed to be a shit stain. I think I went with this last time that I used it, and then I used a slate. Use leather like you always. Depending on what I think, I just use spin to fire speed for this one, to be honest. Damage range seems to be good, and fully loaded. That's how I would make this class setup. Here's my EM2 class setup because most people are using it. Depending on what game mode I'm playing. If I'm playing Caldera, I'll definitely go with Agency. If I'm playing Rebirth, I'll play with Suppressor. So let's go with the Suppressor. You want Task Force because you want that damage range. You go with 40 round. I don't know if they've actually switched it so 50 round is an AIDS, but the reason that you go with 40 rounds predominantly is due to the fact that if you go with 50 rounds, it cuts your ADS by a lot. I like Raider stock because I like to bounce between things. And then I go with... obviously I've always used Axle Arms, but I probably switched to Vision Tech for this actually, and then use the Precision. So this is most likely what my class setup would be. You've probably seen that I've taken off Task Force at some points and put on Field Agent, depending on what I'm feeling like, or you've maybe also seen the fact that I've gone with Tiger Team, and this is like a more fast-paced one. It depends how you want to play. Alright, people have seen that I've used a Krieg lately, so the Krieg that I'm using is just a very simple Krieg. It's what everyone would use, I think. So we go with... Fuck it, let's go with Vision Tech. Most people go with Axle Arms, but like this is just a normal class setup that everyone would be using. My OTS class might be a bit different to everyone else's. Grew Suppressor because it has a very low K. We go 40 round fast. Raider, Skeletal, or you want to go Skeletal or Spetsnaz, depending on what you want to do. Skeletal for sprint to fire speed, Spetsnaz so you can do strafing. This is what the class setup would look like. I've used Lapa before, but I'm not a massive savant when it comes to this. I just used this setup here. That's what I used. I have a very kooky SPR class setup that people have been seeing in some of my games, or you'll see eventually. I don't know, I forget which round it is, if it's Norma or Lapua. Whatever one is objectively the best one. I'm assuming that it's Lapua rounds. I actually don't remember. Whatever one is like the actual best one, I'll just put that one in. Under that, back laser, and then we put on focus. Now, if you really want to play some memey stuff, you don't go with the bullet velocity. I've also done this before, where I run this fast-paced one in Rebirth. It's pretty decent. But yeah. That seems to be all of my class setups that I've been using currently. So if you enjoyed it, thank you for watching, and there should be another video coming up relatively soon with my settings and stuff updated for 2022. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Goodbye.